right. How are you? What are you? What am I? Who am I? What are you? What is this? What is any of it? So I was just feeling into communication as an ability, as a depth of function, right? Because we all know that we're aware, we are taught how to speak, how to perceive information, usually through language, whatever our primary language is. And before long, we define ourselves through these languages that we've inherited. We literally just inherit them with all their preconceived meanings. And not just the meaning, but the emotional charge of the words themselves. And before long, we've created a little narrative for ourselves. We're kind of just like in this narrow vision minded, feeling, low depth oriented way. And quite often I ask people, like, who are you without the words you speak? Some people love the idea, but a lot of people don't have any idea, because how do you say who you are if you don't have words? And that means going into the shadow, going into the unknown, which is, difficult for most of us throughout the course of our life. And it's difficult because we're so boxed in to what we believe, to what we perceive. And when whether we're listening something or we're expressing it, what is happening, right? So I'm talking to you, and right now you're hearing these words, but at the same time, there's all of these internal functions and abilities taking place that we're unaware of, but that are totally a part of how we listen and speak, right? So I'm talking, the sound, the vibration of the words and their emotionally charged meanings are being perceived by you. And so you perceive them, and inside of you, a flurry of neuronal activity that look like lightning storms are taking place all throughout your body. Super consciousness, really, really like beyond genius, super intelligence in each and every one of us. But people like, but if it wasn't for this intelligence, I wouldn't be speaking and you wouldn't be listening. And the other way, so if you're speaking to somebody, and think about what is taking place inside of you that allows you to speak, right? You're forming sound from where? It's in your body. All of these like crucial, fundamental elements of communication are required before the words even come out of your mouth. And so all of that information, all of that ability is taking place. But how often do we acknowledge that, right? Whether we're talking or listening to somebody else, how much do we acknowledge that? Because it seems like we really don't, for the most part. Not as far as the masses go, right? We just think we are who we are, and we're the words we think, and that our identity is in direct meaning to these words that we've inherited. And even more than that, communication obviously isn't just me talking to you or you listening to me or whatever, people talking and listening together. Communication is the very substance and fabric of our own existence, because just to be in our body, to acknowledge everything that's taking place, all of these systems working together for you to be able to perceive reality, we don't really give much credit to where credit is due, because if it wasn't for this internal superintelligence that we all are, that we all have, that everything is, if we didn't have that, I wouldn't be doing this right now, and you wouldn't be listening to it. And so we stay in these very shallow modes of communication, whether we're communicating with others and most importantly with ourselves, right? Like just me moving my hand and my fingers, we take things like that for granted, right? We're just like, yeah, this is my body, this is what's here. Meanwhile, the amount of handicapped people in the world, the amount of handicapped children, if we were to take all of the things that we take for granted into consideration, it's deep. It's really deep. And it's 100% of what we are. And yet we're functioning from a very, very tiny little bit of what we are. And so moving forward, clearly is a species that is out of touch with reality, right? We're stuck in, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I do. Obviously that doesn't work. And if we're going to create a healthier world, it starts with creating a healthier life. And the way we create more health is to become conscious of the communication that is already happening within us, that we don't really consider very often, or that we take for granted. But that when we do start to pay attention, and it isn't just listening or, making sounds and communicating, it's about being so present and knowing that as much or as little as you think you know about who you are, something so much deeper, greater is already involved in all of that. Okay, yeah, it's God, it's Jesus, it's this, whatever. Those are words. But I'm just talking from a core, stripped down level. The amount of intelligence that most of us take for granted or don't think about, that level of intelligence is so crucial to everything. And that without it, we are ignoring the bulk of what we are, of who we have the potential to be. Because, when I consider it, I'm like, wow, there is something going on. It is a miracle. It is phenomenal. It's exciting. It is the depth, everything about it. I want to learn how to live in deeper communion with the very life force that is causing my heart to beat and allowing my lungs to inhale and exhale air. I am choosing to prioritize that level of communication before, just the verbal, whatever you want to call it, more words, verbal diarrhea. Who wants to know what this is, who we are, why we exist? How could we not want to know that? I talk to a lot of people and people just don't want to think about it. Yet we are that, all of us. And so who are we without the words that we use? What is our identity if we're just functioning at the level that has been normalized? So as I begin to leave and hang up this call or video, I'm going to continue to self-reflect, to let go of the words of how I perceive my own inner process. And I'm going to really tune into that because it is there. I have a very sneaking suspicion that it is the predominant bulk of what is there, but that we're not really perceiving. And because of that, I'm intrigued. I'm fascinated. And I'm not going to let the views of those who aren't really in tune or in touch with this, I'm not going to let that control me. I don't care what anybody says or does or believes. When it comes right down to it, this miracle, this super intelligence that we all are, is getting hardly any love from us. Meanwhile, look what it's giving us. I mean, wow, right? We are here. We're alive. It's happening. Yet, what we are aware of is so small compared to what is here, to what is allowing us to perceive, process, and express information. That's what I love. That's what makes me excited to move through this world. And when terrible or difficult or stressful things happen, I have a choice. I can get caught up in it and then just, or I can calm down and I can say, all right, whatever it is that I'm perceiving that's stressful, it's something way deeper than the loop, the thought, the belief that we're so used to ascribing meaning to when it comes to life experiences that tend to repeat over and over. But when we realize that we aren't just that loop of perception, we are all these other elements in our body, around our body, the energy field, how it engages with all the muscles, the glands, the fibers. It is like fiber optic communication taking place within us that's allowing us to communicate all the time. And when we look at what we're doing as a species, I feel like it's time to start paying attention to where attention comes from. But that's me. So if you're here and you feel like tuning in to what you are, know that I'm going to be doing it for quite a while here. Forever, actually.